Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here with Shughead Gaming, with another episode in my series aimed at covering peripherals and quality of life products coming out for the VR scene. My hope is to bring you honest and detailed information along with my first-hand impressions to not only inform you of interesting VR-related products across all VR platforms, but most importantly, to let you know if it's worth picking up. Let's get into it. This time we're looking at the V2 Silent Cable Management Pulley System by Kiwi Accessories. A name new to me, Kiwi Accessories basically makes accessory mods for tech, but with a main focus on the VR market. To be upfront with you all, Kiwi did send this to me, but that has never stopped me from bashing a product before, and it won't start now. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you know firsthand the bullshit that comes with managing the cable that connects your headset to either a PS4 or PC. Whether it be sitting down and going to move only to act like a dog running at something when it's still tied down, or up on your feet straight up river dancing to avoid the cable. Now, I was never one to let it bother me too much, but I will admit to it sometimes being a reason to not jump into the headset, or at the least a real immersion breaker. Cable management systems are nothing new and have been around for years, but the price versus quality just wasn't there for me. Not to mention with my VR being in the family room, cable management systems were simply too much of an eyesore to commit to. Well, now I'm finishing my basement and making a VR space, so when Kiwi asked me if I wanted to try out the latest version of their cable management system, I couldn't say no. Opening up the box, the kit comes with 6 pulleys and the gear to mount the pulleys with either screw hooks or adhesive hooks, with the latter used if you are mounting it to a drywall ceiling or really any surface you'd rather not drill into. Build quality on the pulleys is actually fantastic and actually surprised me with the level of quality delivered, backing up Kiwi's promise of this being a silent pulley system. With the Shughead Gaming Studio still under development, I opted to go for the screw and hooks as the adhesive hooks when tested simply seemed like they wouldn't hold up to much tension. That being said, I have heard it recommended to use a hairdryer to heat the adhesive strips once in place, warming the glue for a more permanent hold. In testing, yes, this definitely increased the grip on the adhesive hooks, but I'm still not convinced. As such, for those looking to mount this to a drywall ceiling, I would recommend using the included small drywall anchors and going with the screw anchors. Yes, this will mean future holes to patch, but that may be the price for your VR comfort. Setting up the system is quick and easy, but not an exact science. The primary thing to get right is the point at which you will be connecting your headset to the cable, requiring 4 pulleys and some adherence to the given instructions. Mounting 3 pulleys to create an equilateral triangle, you then grab the mounting ring to bring these all to one point. Adding the 4th pulley to the ring, and we now have our tie-on point for plugging in the headset. Now, where you put these 4 pulleys as well as the final 2 completely depends on how long your cable is, how high your ceiling is, and simply your play space layout. As for recommended cable length, I wouldn't go shorter than 15 feet, which is the length of a PSVR cable, give or take. With the quad pulley setup installed, your next step is to install the last 2 pulleys, which will carry the slack along the ceiling. Some trial and error will be needed, but my general recommendation is placing a pulley close to the wall where your cable runs up, and then the final pulley spaced equally between the 2 currently mounted points. Attaching the cable is again not an exact science, but I found that I had to resist my desire to keep it tight and clean, which had the effect of me quickly pulling against all the pulleys at once, hence adding some noticeable resistance. Instead, I found that allowing the cable to sag between the pulleys a bit made moving around a much more fluid experience. Attaching then detaching the cable, or in my case switching back and forth between 2 cables, is a breeze due to the nice rubber strapping on the pulleys. In addition, you can also adjust the length of the pulleys, allowing you to control at which point they stop retracting, hence adding some additional flexibility with various ceiling heights. Putting the pulley system to the test, I tried both sitting and standing, with my standing playthroughs really focusing on room scale gaming as well as games that just required a lot of movement. Whether laying down in a sniping position in Onward, crawling for cover in Crisis 2 Brigade, or swinging away in Beat Saber, the cable system worked brilliantly. Now yes, it required some tweaking to find the best setup for my play space, and yes, I could still feel it lightly tug. However, this was only when maxing the system out. In fact, being able to freely turn my body in the real world without thinking about tripping over cables was incredibly immersive in a way I hadn't really expected. Movement with the PSVR was limited due to its shorter cable length, but this was rarely an issue since most games avoid much in the way of room scale due to the PSVR's limited tracking capabilities. When deciding whether your cable is long enough, consider how far you have to go to connect and what additional length you need to freely move around your play space. Something to consider is to limit any strapping going up the wall, allowing the cable to drop vertically, hence giving you that length to move out. As for storage, at the end of a play session, I simply unplugged from my Oculus headset, and on the PSVR, unplugged it at the mid-coupling point on the cable. In addition, attaching and detaching the cable from the pulleys along with the pulleys themselves is so painless that you could easily take most of the cable system down for storage to minimize its presence in the room when not in use. And that brings me to my final review. With wireless headset options starting to become more common, this system may not be useful for some. However, for those concerned about latency, router speeds, or simply the majority that play tethered, this is a fantastic accessory that could also benefit Quest users by allowing them to play nuisance-free while charging. The cable management system does what it promised and greatly increases immersion by addressing the major annoyance of the cable in VR gaming. Other benefits I would guess include reducing the risk of pulling either your PC or PSVR off its mounting shelf or keeping cables away from house pets. At only $30 US, price should not be a barrier here for most, especially considering the quality of the product. In addition, it can be conveniently purchased either through Amazon or directly from Kiwi's site. And for those interested, I will put those links in the notes below. The big issue for myself, and I would imagine many of you, is the aesthetics of the system and the fact that you most likely will be putting holes in your ceiling. I mean, it's an eyesore and it is what it is. I also wish that Kiwi would include the ability to buy extra pulleys individually for longer stretches. Going the other way on length, I want to reiterate to PSVR headsets without the capability of extending your cable, be very mindful of your setup. If your play space exceeds 10 feet away from the PS4, this likely will not work for you. These issues aside, this is a no-brainer for VR users, as it makes the whole VR experience, whether sitting or standing, simply better. Well guys, that's it for me. I hope this video helped you. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more VR content from me, please consider subscribing. And for video updates, hit that bell icon. As always, I'll catch you guys on my next video.